Welcome back! My name is Baller Scuba. This is Video Games Over Time. We are still in 1984. Today, we're going to talk about Tetris. The story of Tetris is long and complicated. It spans not only years, but decades. But it was originally released in 1984. So today we will talk about the history of Tetris through 1984, which is not nearly as long of a story. The story of Tetris takes us to Alexei Pajitnov. Alexei Pajitnov was hired in 1979 at the Computer Center of the Soviet Academy of Sciences to work on speech recognition. His main job was to test the capabilities of new hardware. However, Pajitnov wanted to use computers to make people happy. To do this, Pajitnov would create puzzle games on the computers he worked with, particularly the rare Electronica 60. In 1984, Pajitnov was focusing on a new puzzle game. He took inspiration from a childhood game of his named Pentominoes. Pentominoes is a tile-based puzzle game with shapes made of different iterations of 5 squares. In total, there are 18 different shapes that can be made with these 5 squares. A standard goal of puzzles using these shapes is to create a rectangular box. Pajitnov imagined a game in which random pentominoes would drop, and the player would rotate and position them in order to fill rows with the tiles. However, Pajitnov felt that the amount of different shapes would be too complicated, so he changed it to tetronymos. Tetronymos are similar to pentominoes, but only have 4 squares instead of 5. Tetronymos come in just 7 shapes instead of 18. Pajitnov decided to name the game Tetris, a combination of tetronymos and tennis, which was Pajitnov's favorite sport. Programming on the Electronica 60 was not easy, since the computer did not have a graphical interface. To work around this, Pajitnov used spaces and brackets in order to represent the blocks. Pajitnov quickly realized that the lines would stack up quickly, so he programmed the game to delete lines as they were completed. This became the core gameplay of Tetris. Alexei Pajitnov released the first playable version of Tetris on the Electronica 60 on June 6, 1984. While not a commercial release, the game was presented to his colleagues at the Soviet Academy of Sciences. That is a brief backstory to Tetris. With that now told, it's time to play the game for ourselves. And here we are in the game. This is Tetris, or at least a version of Tetris. As you can see, there's a few different copyright dates on this one. We'll kind of talk about those more as we continue our story of video games over time in general, because Tetris takes a long time to go over its history, but this is based on a version that was originally released in 1986. This is a 1988 version. I feel that this does have a good representation of what the original game would have looked like. It's got a few extra bells and whistles to it, but ultimately this would represent a lot of what the original game would look like. Of course, it wouldn't have color and things like that. It also wouldn't necessarily have instructions on the screen, all that kind of stuff, but the gameplay itself would be fairly representative of what we would see in the original version. So let's go ahead and get into it if they will let me here. There we go. Yeah, they will put in the demo screen here, and then I will say yes once more so that I can play the game. All right, so we have it selected on play. I'm going to choose to hide next because that is not something that was in the original version. Some of the later versions will actually show you what the next piece is going to be. We will select normal here. Selected level is 0. Selected height is 0. And I believe that will be the setup that I want. Okay, so. Nope, this is still the demo. I thought that I chose everything properly here. Apparently, no. I want it to be red all the way down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, just the way that it's selected is a little odd for me in this version, but there we go. We can get into it now, and now we have the game going the way that I want it to. All right, so I can move things around, I can rotate, and then I can drop it to the bottom should I want to. I don't believe that the original version allowed you to just drop things to the bottom, but that was a smart addition to the game and something that I do enjoy. All right, we'll drop that one down, clear our first row, get our points, and try to move on from there. Now, what a lot of people like to do, because a lot of people have a lot of different strategies for this game, is they like to leave one blank spot on the corners, just a blank column, and wait for one of these long pieces in order to get a high score here. I'm not going to stick with that. I've thought about it, and this game just, the original version, I don't think lends itself well to that strategy. So I'm just going to try to fill in as many rows as I can as I see fit. And just kind of go from there. There we go, and put that there. Put that over there. And there we go. We're doing fairly well. I've done better before, and now I'm kind of screwed over, so I'll just drop that in there. There's certain times that you're not going to be able to do things the way that you would like, unfortunately. I can put that one on top. All right, put that over there, and that over there. Really trying to make this one a little bit more difficult than I'm used to, but here we can clear two at the same time. How nice. Yeah, the strategy that, says that you have to try to get like all four at once with a long piece, that is designed to give you a higher score. But once again, I'm not really going for a higher score. I'm kind of going for just kind of playing through and seeing what I can do and trying to get as many of these filled in as possible. Not necessarily going for a high score, but I will keep track of my score kind of at the end. But this is basically the game. It's fairly straightforward. There's not necessarily a lot going on in this version, but that's okay. The game itself stands up by itself. It's a good game, and we'll talk about that as I go over my review, but it gets very addictive. This game does lend itself well to just long play sessions where you lose track of time, and that might happen today, and I might just have to call it after a certain amount of time. Now, I am on a higher level now. As you can see, I'm on level 1. We started on level 0. So the pieces are moving a little bit more quickly, not a lot more quickly. The game does kind of ram things up at a good pace, I feel. I guess we'll go there with that. Once again, I end up putting the long pieces on the corner kind of no matter what, don't I? Yeah, I guess that'll go there. That can go there. And I guess there. They're not giving me good options for a lot of this. A lot of games do make, a lot of versions of this game do make improvements later on to try to make it easier for you to strategize and things like that, but we don't really have those options right now, so I'm just kind of going with what the game presents to me. And I will say that I am not the best Tetris player of all time, absolutely not, but I think I do decently. Maybe. I'm sure the game will find a way to prove me wrong at some point. All right, that can go right there. Get two more cleared out. Let's try to put that there. There we go. Perfect. And we're making progress here. We're getting everything down. And that is our goal. We want things kind of as low as possible. Once it gets to the top, we will lose. As I make it to level number 2. Oh, I'm kind of screwed over here. Yeah, that works, I guess. Put that over there. Everybody has their own strategy on how to play this game. And all of them are probably better than mine. At least it feels that way when you play it. Just every time you get something that doesn't go where you want it to go, you just feel so bad. But we're up to 30 lines cleared. I feel like that's a good number. You guys really aren't helping me with that right side yet. There we go. Like, I need something that, like, goes the opposite way. Thank you. Yeah, I'll put that in there. That helps. Then I can angle this one this way. There we go. And now I'm feeling better about myself again. Put that over there. Okay. Now, I will put that there. Okay, a long piece would be very helpful for me. Up to level 3 now. Oh, that is not what I meant to do. Hit the wrong button. Yeah, the way that this one ends up being set up, as you can see on the left there, 7, 8, 9, and space. It's just a little awkward for me. It's not what I'm used to, but I think it works fairly well for what I'm trying to do. I just need to get used to it. So if I hit the wrong button every once in a while between rotate and drop, that's why. Oh, now I get the long piece. Okay. There and there. Ugh. Not what I wanted there, but it works very well. No. This way. Now I could use the long piece again. We'll put it there, I guess. There we go. Oh, I got 3 there. Oh, geez, that was the wrong button again. I'm getting worse. We're up to level 4. Things aren't going as well for me as I would like, but, you know, we're not really in danger of losing right now. I'm just making small mistakes that shouldn't hopefully add up to a whole lot, because I can clear out my mistakes as I go. Oh, that was also a mistake. Okay. There we go. And that's how this game kind of works. Your mistakes pile up, and you hope that you can make up for it before you make another mistake. That's how I look at the game. It's kind of a philosophical game, the way that it's designed, which is weird because it's just a simple puzzle game. But it becomes so much more powerful than that as you keep playing. We'll put that there. Yeah, I guess that has to go there. There. That'll help. There we go. Put this on the right. Hey! There we go. If it was nothing but those long pieces, this game would be very easy. They usually save me in the end. Yeah, that's fine. I guess there. There wasn't a good spot for that one. Not that I saw, at least. Nah, that was the wrong button. That's going to take me a bit to get out of. All right, we'll put that one there and just kind of hope for the best, clearing these out. That is not good. I hate the squares. No, I didn't get over in time. No, that was the wrong button too. Now I'm starting to get a little freaked out, and I'm making way more mistakes than I need to. Now I don't have a lot of time to fix things. There, I guess. God, this is awful. Level 5 is like where the default is to start too, so things are really not going well for me here. Okay. Making a little bit of room for myself. There we go. We're up to level 6. And things are Not looking great for me. God, I just needed to put something over there. Oh, that was supposed to... No, that was the wrong direction. That one. Just got way over there. Help. Get some things cleared for me. No! I couldn't rotate it enough to get it where I wanted to go. Okay, that works. That works. Nope. All right, we lost here. All right, so that's the game. I mean, as you can see, one mistake can pile up for you. I got 68 lines cleared. I'm gonna call that good enough for today. With this old version, like I said, it's a little bit harder. I would say, because the buttons aren't. I can't just mash the button. I do have to hit the button and kind of wait for it to do what I want it to do. And that did kind of get at me towards the end compared to some of the more modern versions of the game. But this game holds up well, so we'll talk about that. And that is Tetris Played. So with the game now played, let's talk about how it holds up today. Playing the game today, of course the game holds up well, and of course I had fun playing it. This game is a lot of fun, and there's a reason for that, and the reason is the gameplay. The gameplay is immersive, I would say. It's definitely a game that you can boot up and play, and all of a sudden you look down and you've been playing for easily 3 or 4 times as long as you thought you were playing. You just kind of lose track of time, and you just kind of focus on this and you don't realize anything else that's going on around you because you're playing Tetris. And that is the sign of a really good game. It is very immersive, I would say. So when it comes to the gameplay, I think that it holds up very well. Of course, in this particular version of the game, there are a few things that I would like to see to make the game a little bit better. I, in particular, want the buttons to have a little bit more immediate impact. I want to be able to rotate and move the pieces more quickly. And of course, I don't particularly like the setup that it had, but you know, those are kind of minor complaints. These do get fixed in other versions. So it's hard for me to really hold that against the game too much because it is so small. And once again, it does get fixed. Of course, as time goes on and this game does see other versions, they do things like add music. They do add a couple other things to the gameplay to make it easier for you to go further in the game. But with this original version, I still think that the game holds up very well. And I think the gameplay is a key part of that. I think it might be some of the best gameplay that we have seen in any of the games that we have played to this point. And that is a weird thing to say because the game seems so simple. There's not a lot going on in this game. They drop pieces, you rotate and move them, and you try to fill out lines. But that simple gameplay, when done right, is very powerful, and I think this one was done right. In terms of graphics, of course, there could be updates to this, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend this version of the game, but really, overall, I would say that everybody should have a run at Tetris at some point in some capacity. I would recommend one of the later versions simply because there are some enhancement to it that will make things, you know, more fun for you as a modern gamer. But even if you can only find one of these old versions of it, I think that it holds up very well. I think that everybody should play a game like this. This is arguably one of the best games that we have played to this point. Once again, kind of weird to say considering how simple it is, but I think that I can stand by that. Tetris is an amazing game that everybody should check out. And then once you play it for about 5-10 minutes, either you'll be hooked immediately or you'll find out that this game maybe isn't necessarily for you, but more often than not, I think that people will enjoy the game and really want to sink a bit of time into it, trying to figure out how far they can go and things like that. And that's my modern take on the game. When Pajitnov shared Tetris, it became instantly popular. It is said that within a couple of weeks, Tetris could be found on every Moscow institute with a computer. It is also said that Pajitnov's friend at the Moscow Medical Institute requested the game only to then ban it in order to restore productivity. Releasing Tetris commercially would prove to be difficult. Not only were Pajitnov's superiors not necessarily happy with the success of the game, since that was not the goal of the Institute, the Soviet Union did not have clear laws on intellectual property. In fact, Soviet law actually prevented Soviet researchers from selling their creations. While reviews at the time simply do not exist, Tetris has become a beloved video game over time. Tetris is often seen as one of the most important and one of the best video games of all time. It more often than not will appear on lists of the best video games of all time. It holds the Guinness World Record for being the game that appears on the most platforms. It has even been the subject of psychological research to study the impacts of the game. However, in 1984, the game is very much still stuck in the Soviet Union, on a computer that only exists at large institutes. So we will have to talk about how it is possible for Tetris to have this legacy in another video. That means not only returning to the story of Tetris, but also to the story of Alexei Pajitnov in the future. That will do it for the story of Tetris for now. My name is Baller Scuba. This has been Video Games Over Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video when we go over some more honorable mentions of 1984.